Hello, my friends over at Face to Face Gaming. This is Travis Semulin Sowers, and we're jumping into a best of three traditional draft in Adventures in Forgotten Realms on MTG Arena. That's a lot of words to get started. Thanks for stopping by and watching some drafting with me. The format is getting a bit old. We've got the new Innistrad format coming out soon. There'll be Cube for people who enjoy that coming out soon on Arena. I think it's actually tomorrow as I'm recording this. But I'm still having an okay time in AFR. Interestingly, I'm recording this on a Thursday. I streamed all day on Tuesday, and I think got 1-2s and 2-1s all day. And then yesterday, I think I had something like 5 3-0s. So it's weird. It's really weird. There's ups and downs. Some days you can't buy a win. Some days you can't lose. And I think the gameplay has been the deciding factor in a lot of that, which, I mean, argues that this might actually be a pretty good set. This pack doesn't have a powerhouse card. It's got a couple pretty good ones from the Feywild. Trickster, Burning Hands, and Gretchen, I think, are the ones that are in consideration. Precipitous Drop is okay, too. Knoll Hunter is okay, but I think the uncommons are where it's at here. The Feywild Trickster is basically a blue-red card. And Treasure Chest is kind of worthless. A lot of people will see that and get excited about it. And it certainly has some promise there, but you don't know what you're going to get, which is the issue. I think I'm going to start with Gretchen. I could respect the Burning Hands, but I end up getting forced into blue-green so often anyway that I may as well be comfortable first picking a blue-green card. It doesn't mean we're gonna play it. It just means we kind of might like to. So I do like Zalto a good bit. It's 5 mana for a 7/3 trample. That's already not bad, and you're going to get 1 venture off of it. But I think I might like the Troubadour better. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not deciding that because I already have the Gretchen. But one thing I've been really happy doing in this format is playing 18 lands and making sure I have as many mana sinks as I can possibly get. And the Troubadour really fits nicely with that strategy because as you're continuing to hit those land drops from turn 4, 5, 6, you're continuing to get dungeon value. Yeah, I think I'd like that. We'll see. That's an interesting pack. This is a really good pack for the strategy we're looking at employing. We've got a Priest of Ancient Lore, which I think is a very strong card if we'd like to consider changing gears. There's a Feywild Trickster again, which again I really think goes in blue-red more so than blue-green. Really the only dice roller you get in green is the 2/3 Vigilant dude that gains life. I think we end up taking the Owlbear here, primarily because we're not that committed to the blue. And a Troubadour and an Owlbear will pretty much solidify us in green. And we could move out and get into, say, green-white or green-red or green-black, really green whatever at that point. But I think this gives us 2 compelling reasons to be taking green cards. So this is a little bit of the moment of destiny. Well, I guess it's pick 4. It's still relatively early. I kind of think of the Prosperous Innkeeper as mostly a green-white card. I still think we take it here, as I do believe we're solidified in green. So it's kind of like we've got a green-white card, we've got a green-blue card, we could end up in Bant. I like the Air Elemental. I think the Innkeeper probably is the best card here. There's people that would argue it's Deadly Dispute. I've not been particularly impressed with that card, but to each their own. Now here, things be getting a little bit interesting because there's a little hint that we could go in a couple different directions. Our green-white would potentially be interested in random 2-drop. The Dungeoneer is not bad. Improvised Weaponry is not bad. And Scion of Stygia is not bad. Blue is bad enough that I'm not willing to fight the table for it. I think the Dungeoneer is probably the better card in this pack. So I'm going to take it and see where this journey takes us. Green-white's a color pair I like a lot. I usually want like one reason to be getting into it. Like, I don't know, a cleric class, Teleportation circle's an awful lot of fun. A lot of things you can do. This pack has You Find Some Prisoners, which is a card I really like and have probably commented on a good bit in this video series. It's got a lot of blue cards, but none of them are cards I'm particularly excited about. I have played a Pegasus before too, but yeah, none of these cards have me particularly excited. I'm going to take Find Some Prisoners. It's the best card in the pack. We could still be green-red. Who knows? Kind of time to determine how committed we are to green. And I think pretty. Like between the Knoll Hunter, the Owlbear, the Troubadour, and the Innkeeper, I think I'm pretty happy hugging green here. There's some argument to take the Sellsword, because we still really don't have much of a direction, or just take Ray of Frost as like mediocre Assassinate. But like I said, I really don't want to fight the table for blue. Blue needs to be really open, like, I don't know, 8th pick Charm Sleep, for example, for me to be interested in it. This is a bit of the decision point, right? Because the unicorns are very highly sought after for green-white. But if I'm getting 8th pick Charm Sleep, it's probably time to say, okay, we're green-blue. And this is why I end up playing blue a lot, is this card, like, I can understand blue not being one of the best colors in the set. It's fine, it's not. But it's not so bad that you should be avoiding it, and I should be seeing the blue common removal spell that late. I'm still going to continue to take green cards. I don't really like Contact Other Plane. Wizard's Class and Bag of Holding kind of fill the same role, but are so much better than this card, unless you're specifically looking for dice rolling pieces. And the Knoll Hunter is just a really good 2-drop. Not to mention, we've kind of already got that on Gretchen if we're playing blue. There's so many uncommons that draw cards that I don't feel like we need that. So here, I've played a few decks that were interested in the Dryad, but I'm not so committed to blue that like I'm ignoring the white cards, so I'll still take the Cleric. The first Cursed Idol I definitely want, and I often have room for the first Bull's Strength as well, but we definitely want that first Cursed Idol. And yeah, I was considering taking this Air Cult Elemental, and it wheeled. So I think we found our color pair. Now we just open a Volo and go. I mean, I'm not playing that, but free gems, yo. All right. So this pack is relatively underwhelming for what we're doing. The best card here is probably the Skullport Merchant by itself. Hobgoblin Bandit Lord's pretty nice, too. Frankly, Swarming Goblins are real nice. Like, they're just good. We probably want a Clever Conjurer, which sucks. Unless we're not so committed to blue that we just take the Skullport Merchant and see where that takes us. Like, I think we're probably not playing red at this point. We literally saw one decent red card, and it's one that I think other people don't really value, and we passed that Zalto. So I think it's really unlikely that we're playing red. But if black's incredibly open, let's talk. There's just not anything else for me to really consider there. All right, there's the first Basilisk in green, which I value a lot. There's this Temple of the Dragon Queen, which I value a lot. And I think this is just better than the first Evolving Wilds. I kind of just want this Owlbear. Because, like, I know I'm playing green. I know I'm supposed to have the Basilisks, but, man, I love having, like, 3 Owlbears in a deck. Okay, if we accept our destiny that we're supposed to be playing blue, the Jin Windseer is really good. I think this may be one of the best blue commons. How do we feel about this? I think pretty good. Our interaction suite looks like garbage, so we'll kind of have to fix that. But we can do that with something like Bull Strength if we have to. Do we think we can get to 7 mana? I mean, I probably could. The question is, do I need that to close out a game? Like, if there wasn't the Owlbear there, I'd just take Gnawbone. I would need something like a Wizard's Class or a Bag of Holding, which I could probably get. I mean, what the hell? We're recording a video. Let's have a little fun. It's not like I'm at the PT here. Or that those even exist anymore. All right, I would like to take the Basilisk here, but I think I need the second Charmed Sleep. That's not fair. Nobody wants this. I'm taking the Basilisk. This is like interaction. All right, Glade is really interesting. Because Glade means I can play 17 lands. I get a little piece of card advantage, which I was looking for. Because like this is functionally a divination or a regrowth, right? It's a regrowth only for creatures, but, well, permanents. So neat. The only thing I can't get back in this deck is a Cursed Idol. I think it'll be fine. We can play one Giant. I'm not opposed to one Giant. Okay, so there's another Glade, another Knoll Hunter, another our first Clever Conjurer, and I think this deck probably wants the first Clever Conjurer. I also kind of want the Bull Strength, but I have no 3-drops, and I'm looking to play 2 6s and a 7. 3 6s and a 7. I should probably jam the Clever Conjurer. And this is another way for me to feel comfortable playing 17 lands in a format where I normally want 18. Because I've got You Happen Upon a Glade to find more, and I've got the Clever Conjurer to sort of help with a little bit of ramp. And then we've currently only got one outlet in Gretchen as far as a place to dump the mana. I don't think I want the Innkeeper in the build that we have so far, but I could see it getting some play. Normally I would value the Ranger a little higher, but I don't really have any interaction so far other than a Charmed Sleep. So I think we're going to have to try to make Bull Strength into a removal spell for this deck, which is fine. I've done that plenty of times. I've gotten plenty of 3-0s with decks that had 1 or 2 removal spells in them, and just leveraging combat tricks is the kind of the key to that. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but we'll take it. There's literally no downside for us taking the Gnawbone. Neat. Obviously, it's better if your deck has like 6 removal spells. But there's sometimes where you just don't really have the option for that. And I do agree, people will give me grief on stream saying that Charmed Sleep is like one of the worst common removal spells. And it is. But if you're playing blue, that's what you get. There's a possibility I should have taken that one earlier. But there's still a good bit of draft left. So we got some time. We got one more pack. Ideally, we can pick up a fight spell. 5 more Owl Bears. I think I like the Djinn here. This deck has some expectation of being able to turn on the Apprentice and is likely to try to get there through flyers. And I don't have that many 3s, so like I could consider taking this Apprentice here. It's mostly a Windrake in this deck, which I don't particularly like. Meh, I'm still going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a try here. I don't think we're likely to finish the dungeon, but I do think it's quite possible that we're going to try to kill people in the air with the elementals in the Windseer, and like this could start adding some pressure. We'll see how it plays out. So we got a Dragon's Fire. We could splash for that, but I think I might be inclined just to take the Conjurer and be more or less settled with our creature curve at that point. It's 17 creatures, which is a lot, but remember, we're kind of trying to like trade this one off. We're kind of going to have to use creatures as our removal spells. And I don't think I want Contact Other Plane. I think with Gretchen and the Glade, we've kind of got that covered. There's another way we could just have extra card draw in the deck. We don't have enough interaction, so this is not a pick that makes me happy. Like, I'd like to be taking the Windseer and talking about how we can remove a substandard creature, but we just don't have any interaction. So we're going to have to do a Spiked Pit Trap, which is fine. This is basically the same card as that red card that deals 5 damage. Woohoo! Look at that. Done. So from here, we can kind of dig through and look for upgrades, which is nice. Not really any of them here, but that's fine. I've played this before. It could come in from the size board. This kind of lets us cheat and play a 17 land deck with 20 mana sources if we can get 3 lands in play, right? Because the 2 Conjurers are mana sources, and Happen Upon a Glade is a mana source. So, like, it's pretty realistic to think that we could cast Gnawbone with this deck. I think this is probably better than the Apprentice for this build. If we bump into somebody that's very weak to flyers, I might bring that in. Hoo lordy! A wonderful 2-drop and another Owlbear. What's even happening? Sorry, Giant. I got no room for you. I just want an Owlbear all day long. Oh my goodness, this is so good. What do I take? I don't even know. I think I take the Basilisk and sideboard it, because it's really good against aggro decks and big decks. What do you do with 5 Owlbears? I guess whatever the hell you want. You've got 5 Owlbears. I legitimately don't know what to cut for that. Because we're a bit creature heavy, I should probably cut a creature for it. I might could cut one of the Air Cult Elementals. How do I feel about this? Hmm. 17 creatures, but 5 of them are Owlbears. I feel pretty good about this. I think I'm pretty comfortable with this so far. It's worth thinking through and like looking and seeing, is there a card that I'm not playing that I really should be? And you Happen Upon a Glade really, I don't think is reaching its full potential in this build. Because I'm debating whether this is better than just an extra land, right? Because I think this deck is probably going to win if it can hit 3 to 4 land drops. But I don't quite have as much card advantage pieces as I usually like, right? Like usually I'll have one Bag of Holding and a Gretchen, or a Bag of Holding and a Wizard class. There's some card advantage stapled onto something like the Troubadour. Yeah, I think I feel comfortable playing this. And it obviously needs to be heavier green than blue. So I think we'll take this out for spin. I think I can get behind this. Let's go party. We've got some interesting sideboard options. I always appreciate that. And that's one of my favorite things about playing best of 3. I do play some best of 1 now and then, and I'm not opposed to other people enjoying it if they do. But I really like playing best of 3. That's where I'm typically at my happiest. All right, here we go. A dragon versus a bard. I mean, I wouldn't say this is a lovely opener, but I can work with it. I think we Scion that, buy a little bit of time, and then I can have potentially Bull Strength open / you Happen Upon a Glade. This is instant. It looks like a card that would be a sorcery to me, but it isn't. Because I think we kind of just want to buy some time right now. Yeah, if we hit this land drop, it's possible that we want to use Bull Strength to get rid of the Outlander. That's incredibly risky to do defensively. So I may still not do it. Yeah, I don't think I can realistically do that with them not tapped out. Right? Imagine I go for it and they do Spoils of the Hunt or Dragonfire in response. We just get ragged. So let's just keep hitting our land drops. Like, it's free divination. And now we can start the Owlbear party. Which, I mean, frankly, there ain't no party like an Owlbear party. Hey, ho. But I'm not going to attack with it because I don't want them to kill it and then connect for 4. This way, if they kill it, they're only connecting for 2. But I believe we can seize the initiative next turn with the Air Cult Elemental. Potentially Troubadour and Bull Strength. We'll see where it goes. We just got a 2-for-1, and they had the Spoils of the Hunt that we were worried about. Now, they are hitting us for a heck of a lot of damage here, but we'll recover. It'll be fine. So they kind of spent 2 cards to get rid of 1 card to force through damage, which is fine, because now that counter is not really going to bother us anymore. And I think we're going into Old Gnawbones next turn, which is kind of sad, because we'd like to have the Troubadour, but it'll be alright. What we would not like is for them to cast something like an Act of Treason and then just kill us. But I think I'm pretty happy with this. This will give us one hell of a turn next turn. Yeah, okay, everything is basically coming up Millhouse here. This is how you use the Spoils of the Hunt properly. Because I don't need to be dealing with that crap. Infinite Treasure for Travis. Let's get us an Owlbear going. Let's get us another Owlbear going. And let's have Bull Strength up for funsies. That was a pretty brutal turn. Don't even need this Troubadour. Can keep on wondering, buddy. Bork, bork. Who's your cute little dragon? You are a cute little dragon. You are. Oh, the dragon stretching his wings was actually really cute. Okay. They can go on an adventure. I wonder what they're going to do with that treasure. This has to be close to killing them, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If I do this, it's technically a lethal attack and will require some blocks. And the Bull Strength means I can take out the Outlander. And perhaps just kill them. which would be nice. No, thank you. This is a tough spot. Huh. Probably should have attacked with the Scion of Stygia too. I don't think we have enough treasures yet. And these owlbears are so good, and we've got so many of them. All right, for size boarding, what is our opponent looking to do? They're green-red. They're playing bull strength and multiple spoils of the hunt. So they're just looking to smash into us. They're kind of just like Gruul smash, which is a valid strategy. What are we scared of from them? Mostly early board presence. This is a spot where you would think the Eccentric Apprentice could be useful, but it's not. They have reach blockers. I kind of want to cut one Conjurer for a Bar the Gate, but it's difficult to leave that up, right? We could leave it up with Pit Trap activation, Glade, Spoils, Gretchen, because I'm thinking we'll probably hit the extra land drop anyway on the draw. And they had a few good things I'd like to counter. Like countering a 6-drop could be pretty backbreaking there. I probably need another 2 as well, frankly. Like, I should be playing this other Basilisk. Like, somewhat obviously should be playing this other Basilisk. And the Scion of Stygia didn't do anything. It doesn't trade for nearly anything that they're playing. That's not entirely fair, but I don't think tapping that down was that valuable to us. I think I'd rather just have 3 Basilisks, because they're trying to get me on the ground. And Basilisk is like, yo dog, you ain't getting me on the ground. That'll work. Two lands and a 7-drop. Perfect. Land me. That was not land. I hate doing this, but I think I need to. We need to hit lands. Like, big time desperately need to hit lands. Nice. Nature is beginning to heal. What's their blue for? Five, 6, 7. Let's do that. We ready to gnaw some bones? I mean, Flame Skull does a thing. Cacaw. I think I'm pretty comfortable with this. Oh, I needed to activate this. That was pretty stupid. I meant to be able to leave Hunt up so we could stop something like this, but then I didn't because I forgot this was sorcery only. So I should have either untapped a land or just untapped Gnawbone, but I'm bad and I feel bad. Although, to be fair, I ain't above double block, and if they got a combat trick and they're going to use it here, they don't have it to deal with, like, 2-for-1 themselves to deal with Gnawbone, and I'm going to win this game. Yeah, that's not good enough. Gnawbone will kill you. And I don't think we're in danger of running out of tokens. So that was not my best turn, but I don't think we're going to get punished for it. It would appear not. Works for me. All right. I'm going to do it again. Oh, look. That'll work as long as we can hit a forest. And we should be able to. There's like 9 of them in the deck. I don't see much point in holding spiked pit traps when they're in your opener. I'm just like, here you go. You can know that I have this. It's kind of what we was looking for. Get us to that early Owlbear. And potentially early Gnawbone. It's kind of cool that you can play with the treasure. These are not quite like Hearthstone levels of board interactions, but it's kind of neat. Something to do if your opponent's just sort of sitting there. You know, not doing anything. They have an over 40 card deck. So we may have a situation where somebody doesn't know how many cards they can play, or that they don't have to play everything they drafted. It's important to still not underestimate someone who's doing something like that. It could also be somebody doing a challenge run or just having some fun. You never know. But I've encountered scenarios where you bump into somebody that looks like they don't know what they're doing because they have a larger deck or they're playing a card that you think is bad. You never quite know the reason, but you've got somebody that you're like, I'm probably better at Magic than them. If you're right and you play the game properly, you're going to win. If you're right and you play the game improperly, you probably still win. But if you're wrong and you play the game improperly, they're going to kill you. So I tend to always err on the side of, let's assume my opponent knows what they're doing, has a plan, and isn't stupid, and play that way. That, I think, is the one that is most likely to lead to me winning, which is what I want. Go get him, Timmy. They may have the 5 damage spell for the Owlbear. That's fine. We still got a 1-for-1 trade. And we're up because we drew the card. All right, roar. I reckon that's going to put the game out of reach, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't reckon that's going to help. We just turn them sideways and they're dead anyway, right? Yeah. I mean, sure, I may as well use the thing I have literally on board. No need to show them any more cards. Sometimes you bump into an easy match. It's part of the game. I can't really sideboard much against that. Other than what we bumped into before with I'm less likely to want a Clever Conjurer when I'm on the draw. So I think I'm going to make that little change again and then move along. If they're playing a particularly large deck like that, it's likely that they will stumble early and that I can get some sort of board presence going and then hold up a counter spell. But like I said, it's important not to underestimate your opponent when you have a round one where, like, I mean, they missed land drops. Who knows what else is going on there? But I like I said, I found that taking every match seriously, they put me on the play. Was not prepared for that. But okay, they're in my head now. Rent-free. So this dragon has 4 claws on this hand, but only 3 on the other one. And 3 on their feet. Right? Like, it could be perspective that you're not seeing one from here. But why don't you see it on the feet either? I'm just asking questions. It's a mimic. Again, I'm going to assume they know what they're doing, even though I don't care much for the mimic, and just play something for the turn. I should be able to hit another land drop and cast the Owlbear. I don't know what they were planning to do with it, but me destroying it certainly wasn't what they were planning to do with it. There's some value to holding the pit trap here. So we will hold it for one more turn. And now we'll play it. I think I'd still rather Owlbeer. Because bouncing it's functionally the same thing as killing it for where this board state is. Observe. Like, once it can't block for one turn, it's really not blocking anything that matters from here. And if they replay it, now we kill it and have all of this still here. You just missed too many land drops. And they're about to get faced with that lethal. Roar! Would you like to die, or would you like to chump with your trickster? This will not help you. I contacted another plane, and they said I'm gonna die. But you can take, I can take my time about it, apparently. Roar! Gnoll hunting. We did it, Reddit. All right, looks like we're having more luck from yesterday than the luck from Tuesday. Which is good. I'm a huge fan of winning. I would always choose winning over not winning if I got to pick. It's just upside. It's just way better. Huge fan of winning. Vivian's a cool planeswalker. I think if I wasn't using Bolas, Vivian might be one I could dig. I mean, she's into cats. Gotta say, that's a big plus. Again, don't see much point in trying to hide this. As long as they don't roll a 20, this is the easiest block we've ever had. Wouldn't mind hitting another land now that you mention it. Thank you. I'd even take one after this. Thank you. They've missed so many land drops, I think I can probably get aggressive here, but I still don't quite need to. Yeah, they've had enough. I just miss land drops. I mean, that's kind of the story of this format. You can't miss land drops, which is why I like playing 18 lands so much. Again, this deck isn't, but again, if you think about it, it's kind of playing 20 mana sources. So we really didn't see enough of their deck to have any idea at all what's going on. Like, big stuff on the ground. It's kind of cool that I can make it make that noise over and over. But we really didn't see enough to make any sideboard decisions. So I think I'm just going to do what I've been doing, which is take out one of the Conjurers and bring in a Bar the Gate. I could probably cut something for a Herdgurger. Well, I can also cut the Scion of Stygia. And maybe consider a Shepherd. Because it's going to do about the same thing as far as blocking ability, but if that one ever resolves on an empty board, the life gain might be slightly relevant. I really need to see what their other color is before I can make big decisions. Because let's say that, you know, they're a black-white deck that's a little bit more grindy and just had an aggressive start, versus they're a black-red aggro deck. I just need to know what they're doing before we make that kind of decision. Drinking water with a little bit of cranberry juice in it for those that are interested. I suppose they could be mono black. And if they've got that Grim Wanderer again, I'm in colossal trouble, but I didn't play this to not block with it. Here's kind of the scenario I was talking about, where I think it's just lines up well against at least some of what we saw, and if it can actually attack, why not have a little life gain tacked on? Now we can completely telegraph to them what we have, but I kind of don't mind doing it here. Like, yeah, I got a combat trick, what you gonna do? My guess is not block. I don't know, they just want to straight up call me. Okay, get called. This will give them the treasure token, which they seek. But we get the owl beer. And I think a chain of owl beers might be enough to get us out of this. Well, out of this, through this, win this, whatever. Win the video game. They have to be mono black, eh? No. I tend to think this thing is mostly a 2/3 lifelink vigilance, but it doesn't get it when it blocks, so like it's kind of not that. I don't know, it's a weird card. It's an interesting card, and I've played it more often than I initially thought I would, but I think I like 2/3s more than a lot of people do. It's just generally speaking a decent stat line. More blue is good. Got these sleeves as soon as they came out. I'm kind of into Bolas. I don't know if you knew. Soon. Soon we will gnaw the bones. It's important to remember they got a 3/3 creature land. I don't really want to block if they attack, but I guess I could do it somewhat comfortably with the Shepherd and an Owlbear. And at this point, we're just saving you happen upon a glade as a regrowth for Gnawbone if they're able to kill it, which is our win condition now. We play Gnawbone. If they kill it, we get it back. If they don't, we'll just kill them with it. Because I don't think they're going to kill me on the ground. I also am not convinced they have a removal spell, or presumably they, like, if it was an instant speed one, you almost assuredly attack with the Beholder and then use it. Do I have, like, a dragon emote? It seems like you should. No, you don't. How do I express myself if I want to express dragon things? There's really just nothing. Okay, I guess we'll just read the paper. So if you happen upon a glade and find your dead dragon buddy, how exactly does that work? You got me. There's nothing I can get back current. Well, yeah, Null Hunter doesn't matter here. I don't see any reason not to play around the Mind Rot variant for the rest of this game. If this connects once, I'll never need to make another land drop, and even if it doesn't, I'm probably okay. So I feel like we're in pretty good shape here. I don't see any reason to block that. There's some crap that basically has Morbid. So I don't need to enable any of that stuff for them. Okay. I'll take that one, thank you. like I said, that was our plan. We get the null bone back, we win the game with the null bone. So I'll take it. I'm not sure what happened between 2 days ago and yesterday, but apparently something clicked. And now I can win AFR draft left and right. I'm actually up gems lately. Maybe the people who, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm very happy about it. And I'm very happy that you decided to spend some time watching this draft video and hanging out with us here. Do check out Face-to-Face Games for good deals on cards, games, all sorts of other stuff. Like, they're the ones sponsoring this, so big thank you to them for that. And if you'd like to watch my stream, you can do so. I stream Monday through Fridays on Twitch, sometimes on the weekends, at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. I hope I'll see you there sometime, and y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.